Welcome back to The Edge. Hey, we've got search status dashboards, December 2022 link spam update. What's that extra E all about anyway? And Musk runs a Twitter poll to end his position. You're listening to news from The Edge for the week of December 19th, 2022 here on Edge of the Web.
From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
This is Edge of the Web Radio. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks, owner of Site Strategics, digital marketing firm based in Indianapolis, Indiana. We're covering SEO and digital marketing news of the week, each and every week, separate from our weekly interview podcast, getting more news to you even more quickly. See? Be sure to check out everything.
I get it.
Hey. Be sure to check out everything over at edgeofthewebradio.com. Joining me this week to get his share on all things news is Morty Olberstein, head of SEO branding over at Wix. Morty.
I'm not playing this game with you.
Come on. It's easy.
I am not playing this game with you.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I can't.
You can't. It's
no,
at
I'm
the
not
end.
Start screaming ease.
Well, I mean, it's all. We're all a flutter.
I'm more of a Fonzie kind of guy anyway.
Hey, there we go. See, we got all the vowels covered. Hey, you got another vowel over there, Jacob?
No.
What's happening in Morty's world? See, I can't stop doing it now. What's up? How's Morty's Monday going?
That's good. It's Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah to you.
Happy Hanukkah to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What am I doing for Hanukkah this week? Oh.
Same thing we do every week. If we're Jewish, take over the world.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry, Kanye West. Screw you.
That was a with your Jewish space lasers and everything.
Hey, that's how we do circumcisions.
All right. Hey, what's going on at Wix? Not about you. What about Wix? How things are going over there?
Things are going good. We had our yearly recap of the year last week.
Yeah.
Teased a couple of integrations that we're doing with Google Search Console in the coming year.
Cool.
That's exciting stuff, yo.
Absolutely. You say yo.
Yeah. I should have said ye.
Yes.
I would say ye, but I think ye's an anti-Semitic son of a bitch. So I'm not doing that.
And that is Morty Olberstein. You can track him over at Morty Olberstein on Twitter. Just to let
Twitter
him...
still exists? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe you can track me on Twitter. Who knows what'll happen by the time you're hearing this?
Well, I mean, you can also go over to Mastodon, although you won't be able to actually see Mastodon tweets at all, right? That's a whole nother story.
Because they're called toots. That's why.
God, we are debasing ourselves now. It's just going to get into juvenile humor, although I think it's been like that the entire time. Hey, over at Search Engine Journal by Roger Monti. So Google reveals more information about the search status dashboard over at Search Engine Journal by Roger Monti. Google actually published on a new episode of Search Off the Record podcast that reveals the reasons behind this new dashboard and the kind of incidents that it will actually cover and why they don't actually plan on translating the updates to any other languages. So this dashboard is there kind of to replace the ad hoc Twitter statuses that they would actually roll out whenever something was going wrong, any type of major search outage or crawl blockage or what have you. They've been doing a lot of tweeting over the years of status. I think that was going through Danny's the Search Liaison's Twitter account, and there was no templates for this. So they would actually spend a huge amount of time wordsmithing what they were about to say to the SEO community whenever something was amok, right? So their dashboard actually is covering only 3 kinds of outages: crawling, indexing, and serving. So Gary Eash actually said on the show, so we mapped the dashboard to major search systems, which are those 3 that I just said, and any incidents that would go into those buckets. So for example, if for whatever reason Googlebot cannot crawl the whole internet, that would end up in a crawling bucket. If there's some canonicalization problem that's affecting lots of sites, that would go up in the indexing bucket. And if google.com is not accessible to a lot of users, then that would end up in the serving bucket. Morty, Do you recall any point in time that they communicated that Google itself and the serving up of Google was not available to a lot of users?
Well, they've confirmed bugs before.
Sure, but I mean, if Google's just not available to a section of the world, have they ever done that?
No, I mean they would not to my recollection.
Hmm.
I mean, there have been times where Google itself has been down.
All right.
So I guess that I don't know if you're referring to that.
I guess so. I guess so. I just
So,
reading
yeah,
those
that's
points.
happened before.
This didn't. I don't recall seeing those as dramatic as they were being kind of laid out there. But we have seen crawling problems and indexing problems.
Well, yeah, I think we usually find out after the fact.
Right.
Like, yeah, hey, you know what? There's been like, yeah, for the last day, there's been an enormous bug, or 2 days, there's been an enormous bug. Nothing's been indexed.
Right.
You know, remember if you recall, there's been a couple of cases where news content wasn't being indexed.
Correct. So this is not going to be reporting anything that has to do with Search Console, however, and any bugs in that system. It's just going to be the systems of crawling and indexing, so to speak, and that's going to be kind of the outage dashboard that we're familiar if you go down to your local power and light company, right?
Well, the crawl stats and the indexation inside of Search Console could theoretically be impacted, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Your crawl stats, but yeah, I mean, look, lots of companies have this thing. It's a little bit not very detailed. Like, I wonder how it works exactly.
Mhm.
Let's say again, let's say there's an indexing issue around just news content. How does it show up on the dashboard?
Right.
Typically, these kind of things are a little bit more detailed. Like, for reference, by the way, like we have Wix has a it's called the Wix services status page, and it breaks down pretty much everything like site loading, site editing, is it up, is it down, site dashboard, blogs, stores, events, forum pages, hotel pages, the app market, Velo, all these kind of like different Wix products. Are they up or not? And with 99% uptime, they usually are up. But it's a little bit more detailed, so you understand, like, because like the product is pretty dynamic with what Google's offering here. It's not very dynamic, so I wonder how it'll play out if certain aspects, certain worlds or areas of the internet aren't impacted, but not others.
Yeah, I'm wondering about what the threshold is going to be that actually makes it up on the dashboard itself. The
Yep.
nuance is what you're really speaking of, and yeah, they were talking about the overhead that it would take for them to actually communicate to the SEO audience, but at the same time, that personal touch is what we are expecting over the last few years of actually them communicating these different things. If they just resort to this dashboard, especially if there's no nuance, they're kind of going back a few steps, aren't they?
Well, I guess it all depends how they take it, right? If they say, well, you know, nothing to see here, just to go check out the dashboard. But I think what they were talking about, pardon me,
Mhm.
is that when they have to put out an official message, it takes a lot of back and forth. And I've had this where people have to review the content. It has to go through multiple channels, you
Yeah.
get multiple approvals. It can be tedious and time consuming. So if they could just say, check out the dashboard, blah, 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 and we'll let you know when it's back up, and like whatever information they have, just talk about that off the cuff. That'd be one thing. If they don't offer anything, just go back, say reference the dashboard, that would be a
Right.
different thing.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I would imagine Java would start talking about what they know or don't know.
This could very well be that preemptive, just there's the information immediately so they can see something, and then they can have a little bit more time to actually communicate any particular nuance to the issues. Hopefully that's the
Yeah,
case.
or John has to answer 1,000 times. Like, just here's what's going on the dashboard.
Yep.
Go look at that. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. They bug him an awful lot. You know that?
Me? Yeah.
No, not you. Just
No, I do.
you bug John an awful lot.
I try to.
Well, I mean, we support your cause. We truly do.
It's called Fun on the Internet with John and Morty.
Gotta check
Check
it out.
over at Mastodon now.
Hey, another article here real quick from Search Engine Journal from Matt Southern. Google's December, there's a lot of news that were happening in the last 7 days here. So digging into this one, Google's December 2022 link spam update was rolling out, and then this was Wednesday, so we just missed it in our last episode. Google's starting to roll out the December 2022 link spam update on December 14th, and it'll take about 2 weeks to complete, they say. So, link spam. Who'd have thought that in 2022 we'd be seeing another set of link spam updates to the systems, so to speak? Well, they're rolling it out, and they're not doing that much description. however, on link spam. However, they are insisting that you should be, if you have an affiliate relationship to a site, that you actually put your rel sponsored, or rel affiliate, I should say, rel sponsored tags in your outgoing links, because you could very well result in getting your site hit by link spam updates. Now, have you heard of anything happening so far? Now, this rolled out on the 14th here, Morty. Anything that you want to contribute on the link spam side of things, and if you saw anything come through?
I haven't seen anything. I haven't really I'll be honest with you, I haven't had time to dig into it yet.
Mm-hmm.
None of the trackers have showed enormous movement with it. I was talking to Barry about this.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense. It's a spam update, which is interesting, by the way. This is like what they had one in October, and now we have another one now.
Yeah.
I saw Glenn Gabe showed a couple of sites that he thinks were impacted by the update, but it's interesting. I mean, now, like, the cool thing about this one is, I'm trying to pull it up here, where Google says, Spam Brain is our AI-based spam prevention system. Besides using it to detect spam directly, it can now detect both sites buying links and sites used for the purpose of passing outgoing links. So I guess if Google take it at its word, I don't know if there's teeth to this or not, but it seems like they're like really onto you if you're buying links at this point.
Finally, right? I mean, you'd expect that this has been ongoing for the longest time. Spam Brain's been around for a while.
Right.
But
now it knows when you're buying links.
Yep.
Which I always thought that's what Penguin kind of did.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a decade ago, right? So what's happening now?
It knows more bettering.
More bettering.
There we go.
I should have known.
Additionally, you need to tag links in guest posts with rel nofollow, or that could get you in trouble with Google as well. There's a nuance right there that we probably all should be paying attention to. If you're actually doing guest posts, and that's a strategy for link building, right? So if you're actually guest posting, that is considered a transaction one way. That nofollow needs to be on any of the links coming back to you from your efforts. That's actually something I didn't catch in first reading here. That's pretty important.
It can be organic, though. You can be organically guest posting. It's not a reciprocal thing. I just happen to be on your site guest posting.
So it's not. It could be considered paid as well. So.
Right, it all depends. Like if I write for SEJ, I'm not getting paid for that. So I want at least I should get a link out of it.
Really should. I'm saying.
That's how I look at it.
And now maybe it has to be a nofollow link, Morty.
Well, no, I'm not reciprocating. It's not a guest post. I'm not having to be writing for them.
All right, fair.
I get anything in return for it.
You're getting some great.
I want the follow link, man.
You got some link juice happening, man.
I'm not above that.
No, absolutely not. Hey, we're proud to have Site Strategics as a sponsor of this show. We're pioneers in the agile digital marketing methodology. Our core specialties are, you know what? We're kind of like a structured data SWAT team. That's who we are. So if you're interested in what we can do for you, give us a call over at 877-SEO for Weber, 877-736-4932. We learn a lot from these shows. Each and every week, we bring that to the betterment of our clients. So check us out over at sitestrategics.com. All right, another article here from Search Engine Land, and we've got Lily Ray as well as a Search Engine Journal link as well. I wanted to combine them both, and there was a lot of news about this. So, Quality Raters Guideline just got updated last week, and more importantly than anything else is that they've added another E to the EAT. Now, EAT has been referenced well over 300 times in that document. If you don't know what Quality Raters Guidelines are, they're a document that they actually use with their 14,000 employees of Google that actually evaluate the results that they are seeing in the algorithm as they make changes to be able to see if what is actually coming back on the search results are accurate to what the algorithm shifts have been. So it's kind of a checking system inside the organization, but it also gives us an incredible amount of value into the insight of how Google's evaluating content and how they rank sites. This is not a checklist, it's an evaluation guide to be able to see basically how Google trusts, quote unquote, content out there. That's a very brief summary, and I'm doing damage on that. But the whole point is they are rolling this out every so often, and this one had substantial changes to the documentation. So what does the extra E stand for, Morty?
To quote Jimi Hendrix, are you experienced?
Wow. That's beautiful. That's
Right?
poetic. That's pretty good. Experience
right?
as opposed to being an expert. What's the difference, one might say?
Well, and if I'm an expert, I can wax poetic without never having have done anything.
You can just.
I'm a thought leader person. But if I experience, then I've actually touched the thing that I'm talking about. So if it's a product,
Mm-hmm.
I've used the product I am reviewing,
Yes.
which is fascinating because that's already been part of the algorithm before it's been part of the quality rater guidelines, which is usually the reverse. Usually it's the quality rater guidelines. And if Google can pull that into the algorithm or mimic that algorithmically somehow, they do.
Right.
But in this case, they talked about the product review updates algorithmically, looking at firsthand experience.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of their guidelines by having a good product review update. When they talked about the product review update in terms of an algorithm, was have firsthand experience. And now, only now, is it going to the quality raters guidelines. And I found that fascinating.
Absolutely, because we were looking at this back in November of last year. I think we've had 4 product review updates, 4 or 5.
I lost count.
There's a lot. But what was interesting is we were seeing Google specifically go after blogs and sites that were actually reviewing particular products, and it was evaluating whether or not the content showed expertise on the product, of whether or not it actually showed that this person or organization truly did understand the differences of the different products, and it was representative in the content itself. So this is, you're absolutely right. This is a full change, a 180 change of what they've been doing in the past. Is now you see an algorithm, kind of like a baby incubation algorithm change over here on product reviews, and they've grown it to a degree that can actually be launched for all content now in this QRG perspective. So it's been incubating for the last year. This is our little baby all grown up. Now everybody is being reviewed of whether or not you've got expertise in your field, not just an expert.
Well, it depends. Like, obviously, if it's like you're talking about, like, the theories of astrophysics, it's a theory. You don't have an experience. It's all theoretics.
But experience is, have you published journals? Have you actually?
So that could be fine.
That could be expertise.
But that's expertise.
Right.
That's not experience. So I
Correct.
think it all depends on the particular vertical and the particular scenario, like where experience fits in. There are 2 possibilities. When Google said, I pulled it up here. When recommending a product as best overall for the best certain purpose, be sure to include the following information in your review, and one of them is firsthand evidence to support your claims. 2 possibilities. One is Google's recommending you do that, but they had no way of algorithmically backing that up. I find that interesting. They would include that if they can't back it up. That's putting themselves out there for no good reason.
All right.
Second is, like, they are figuring out ways to profile language to better support firsthand evidence. Meaning, like, and I've talked about this for a while, and I've always been an advocate that Google is all about profiling language structures with machine learning, and it's pretty easy, I think, relatively easy. I think machine learning is built for this. Like we talked about this on this podcast, actually.
Yep.
If I'm reviewing a vacuum cleaner, I write the vacuum cleaner is good. It sucks up dirt. Or if I write the vacuum cleaner is great, it sucks up dirt, but not when the dirt is on carpet. But it's pretty good at cat hair. That's a much more complex language structure that would indicate I've actually used a damn thing.
Right.
I wonder if Google's having a hard time refining that, and perhaps has hit a wall with these kind of things where now it needs human input to see, okay, we've got it, or no, we need to go back to the drawing board with it. So it's asking the quality raters to go determine whether or not firsthand experience has been applied to this piece of content. Now Google can look at it and say, you know what, we also were able to pick that up algorithmically.
Yep.
Okay, we got it, or we don't have it. Now we got to figure this out again.
So this is,
I wonder.
I think
I'm speculating.
I think you're right on the money there, actually, is that they've rolled out their product review update into mass and be able to understand experience from its natural language processing, right? And you're most likely, based on different verticals, going to have different patterns of known speech if you have been experienced, not expert, in that particular evaluation of a product, or more importantly, just your experience in your industry, right? And now they're bringing all of their QRG employees to bear to be able to evaluate real time an algorithm change that has actually rolled out. So we are not experiencing a core update at any point in time here. We've just experienced a link spam. And what was our previous update here?
link spam. There was a core up. There's a helpful content version 2.
Yeah, ACU 2 came through, which is also kind of a pairing to what we're talking about, how helpful something is. Helpful is, as opposed to harmful, is completely pervasive in the QRG, right? So now you've got QRG rolled out for the QRG raters to be able to review these SERPs, to be able to see whether or not they're getting it right. I think you're spot on there, truly.
Yeah, I mean, look, like if you look at the last couple of updates, whether it's been the last 2 product review updates, the last core update, the helpful content updates, I don't know, like something has been weird and different about that, and that's just kind of my like intuition. I can't back that up, and I wonder if again they've hit a wall with certain things, and now they're going to the quality rater to see about how they can go about fixing those things. Which again, I'm like, I'm really like going off a deep end with that one, but I wonder if that's what's going on.
A number of factors here that they have rolled out. There's a number of updates, and as soon as that rolled out, Lily Ray and Marie Haynes were all over it. They had their work cut out for them because there was substantial changes in the vernacular that they're using. They're also digging into the QRG updates, digging into who's responsible for the website content and who created the content on the page. So they're actually drilling down to who it is, whether or not your site has singular contributors or it's part of a company organization, or if they are actually having, if it's a news organization, you've got a lot of different writers. It's trying to find those individuals and their expertise as well, even to the degree that they're also trying to find out whether or not there's a particular username or a handle that that person or organization has from the creation of the content inside the site. That's interesting, but even further down into some of these changes are how to actually understand the main content and basically evaluate it on its own quality. So you got to dig into this information. It is fantastic, the changes that are happened here, and it is truly evaluating the merits of the content based on who published it, who they are, and on top of that, they're doubling down on whether or not it's helpful, or if it's malicious or it's harmful content. What you saw back in July, I think we had a QRG update, is probably 4 to 5-fold, I think, what I'm hearing in this update itself, all around helpful, harmful, and expertise. So right in the middle, they actually have a diagram. Right in the middle is trust amongst all things. So this extra E does make sense that you can be an expert without actually having knowledge in the field for a long period of time. Yeah, there's the Venn diagram right there. You've got
I'm glad they did that, by the way, because I've always like had a hard time. Like, people look at expertise, authoritative, and trustworthiness. Like, no, when like all of those things overlap.
Right.
I'll dig it up. I have a tweet going back with Kevin Innig about this back and forth. Like, we're both in agreement about this. That as a concept, expertise lends itself to trustworthiness. Authoritative lends itself to trustworthiness. So it's not like a linear thing of these 3 things. They kind of all overlap. So I'm glad they have that Venn diagram there.
Yeah. It's trust right in the middle of it, and then you've got the overlap of authoritativeness, experience, and expertise. So it makes sense, but boy, it throws all the anagrams out, right? Because everybody's got to change their documentation to add that extra E, right?
It's like when they change it from, GMB to GBP.
Oh, God.
Oh, mess.
I know.
But yeah, you're right. There's all this contextualization of the author themselves, of the site itself. This is another interesting one where they say, I got to pull it up. Where'd it go? The website, talk about what is low quality, right? Or low E-A-E-E-A-Ting.
Do it.
The website or content creator is not an authoritative or trustworthy source for the topic of the page, i.e., or e.g., text form downloads provided on a cooking website.
Yeah.
Which is another case where Google's algorithmically been doing that for a long time. If a site does X and is talking about Y, Google will not kill off the entire site, but it'll kill off that section or all the content that talks about Y that's not applicable to what the main site's topic is. But now they're adding that into the QRG, which again, I'm just going with my little like conspiracy theory here. It's a reversal, right? It's the reverse. Usually it goes to quality rater guidelines first and then makes its way into the algorithm. Here it's in the algorithm already, and now it's made its way into the quality rater guidelines.
That's wild. So they're checking up on themselves, seeing if they've done it right. And on top of that, we also didn't see a sizable change in the helpful content update, number 1. Number 2 is starting to shake out some things. So it looks like things are about to change sizably. We were all kind of holding on, white knuckling it for this HCU. Helpful was in the name of it, right? Nothing really happened, but you have these compounding factors that are all oriented towards the experience, the expertise of these sites, right?
I wonder though, with the helpful content update, that's how it's supposed to be. For example, let's say with like, I don't know, like a core update, right? To oversimplify this. Page bad, rankings down. Site bad, rankings down because quality isn't across the board. Good, up. Here, though, it's a certain threshold, right? So it could be that the new version of the HCU went out, and it said you are now closer to being unhelpful. So it did impact you.
Oh, I got you.
But it didn't cross the threshold yet, so there's no ranking impact. Aha.
Yeah. Okay.
So that could be why.
That's interesting. Well,
I try to be.
Lily Ray certainly did give a good breakdown here, and on top of that, we wanted to throw in that final article from Search Engine Journal. Matt Southern actually dropped that in there. Let me pull that up real quick. How to demonstrate EEAT firsthand, right? How to demonstrate firsthand experience, I should say. So have a look at that. It's a pretty quick article here. Demonstrating firsthand experience is more important than ever to Google, says he. The updates to the search quality raters guidelines list the criteria Google is searching for. So this is really the breakoff factor that he was talking about. What does experience mean and how you actually demonstrate that? But overarching, we're talking about a good deal more complexity than just demonstrating your experience. We're talking about a series of additional system updates that now Google's actually kind of checking on itself to see whether or not it's got it right. That's what you're saying.
I mean, I think it's both. I think it's checking on itself and with certain things, and I think it's also trying to expand into new areas with other parts of the updates, like certain things around the experience. I don't think it's already doing algorithmically. I think it would like to be able to do, and I think it's going to take the input from the quality raters and then try to what they always try to do, try to move the algorithm forward to mimic or encompass that somehow.
Yeah, we want to give a shout out to both these authors. There's a lot of content being generated right now of how to interpret a QRG. We highly recommend, I know it's a dry read, it's 170 odd pages here, but for every SEO, they should be diving into this and understanding the differences between different versions. That's where you can look towards Lily Ray and Marie Haynes, because they're making those correlations and the contrasting between that. And there is sizable language differences, Morty, between if you're to read anything into vernacular and terminology, they are truly pivoting straight into, I mean, 3 years ago, eat wasn't even in the document, right?
3 years ago. Don't question me about time.
There's a point that it was
it's
not
way more than 3 years ago.
When did they actually start adopting eat into this? Never mind.
I don't know the year.
Okay. I thought he was all things chronology.
No, I'm not. I'm terrible at time.
No worries. Hey, you know what time it is? It's time to let you know about our key sponsor here. Inlinks is a continued sponsor of Edge of the Web. Did you know that entities play I can't even do that. Entities! Yeah, there's that.
Right.
They play a major role in how search engines actually understand and rank content on the web. Optimize your content solely for keywords is a thing of the past. Now's the time to add entities into the mix and reach higher rankings using Inlinks, an award-winning software in entity SEO. It provides some expert-level data to build your content around key concepts that will win inside of Google, so Google can have a better understanding of the context of your articles. So go over to edgeofthewebradio.com/inlinks, INLINKS, to claim your free Inlinks account and start creating content that will outperform your competitors. All right, fourth article, had to do it because, my gosh, it just closed today, right? From CNN. Rarely does CNN come on this show. Elon Musk's poll results are in. He should step down, Twitter voters say. A Twitter poll created by Elon Musk asking whether he should step down as head of Twitter ended early Monday morning with most of the respondents voting in the affirmative. What was the percentage on the poll there, Jacob?
57.5%.
There was plenty of memes and plenty of tongue-in-cheek moments of responses to this, for the most part saying, you know what, be careful if you say yes, folks, because you could very well be voted off the island. This was one big bait. What do you think? What do you think, Morty?
What do I
I know we're
think?
finishing up on a light note here, kind of, but it
What do
is.
you what do you say about it? Like, this guy's a nut.
He
I mean,
truly
like,
is.
what's wrong? Seriously, what's wrong with this guy?
Nope, Morty
Like,
just got suspended.
Who does this stuff?
You just got suspended. We're done.
I've watched it happen
It's like
live.
seventh grade. It's like seventh grade all over again. I ain't do anything. I'm suspended.
He literally said he would abide by the vote. So
Goodbye. Go.
So the
Good
question,
riddance. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
the question I've seen is, was he trying to back out anyway? Was he assuming this was going to go this way and now he's making it a thing? Or did he really think that everyone was going to like pat him on the back and say, good job, stick around?
right.
Was he trying to stroke his ego here, or is he
I
giving
think he's a
himself an
narcissist. I think he
Yeah.
thought people were gonna.
yeah?
I mean, look, there's still
I mean,
42% of like the
did-
planet. Like,
Did
voted
he
for the
not
guy.
see what happened when he went on the stage with Dave Chappelle? Did you guys see
No, I
that?
didn't see it. No.
He got booed for like 5 or 10 minutes straight.
Wow.
Like the crowd would not stop.
But everybody at Qatar was shaking his hand.
I saw that too. Everyone's like, Elon just doxed himself and told us where he is. He should get his account suspended.
Yeah, so even last week, he actually banned a number of journalists, right? And
Yeah.
on top of that, banned a number of social media accounts of different platforms like Mastodon.
you could have been going. You can't even go to a DM
No.
with Mastodon link. That's
Oh,
like
really?
Googling Bing and Google not serving up any like the fact that Bing exists.
Yeah.
It looked like his reasoning behind Mastodon was that people were sharing stuff on Mastodon that's against Twitter policy, and so he just blocked it. And in that case, he should probably
Oh
block
yeah,
Google.
that's what it is.
Well, no. That was his excuse. Like, well, we can't control what Mastodon's doing, and so people are sharing links to Mastodon, which is links to things we don't approve. But then shouldn't Google be blocked? Because Google will let you find things that are against Twitter policy, including...
Also, any website, like I can share any website.
Absolutely.
It's
He's
a hot
just
mess.
out of control. It's amazing this guy had a reputation as go back a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a genius. He's ingenuitive, and look what he's done to himself. Like
So if he backs off,
clearly unstable genius.
if he backs off, gives control of Twitter over to, I don't know, let's say Morty.
Yeah.
Oh my
good idea.
God.
Twitter,
no.
Twitter is saved. Look at Morty. Like, look at him perk up.
Let's do that.
He gives Twitter control to someone else. Twitter is saved. It rebounds. It comes back. Is his reputation permanently ruined from this whole experience?
Oh yeah.
You think so?
He's done.
Nah, you know what? I think his play here is
Oh.
that he's going to abide by that. He's going to step down, but he still owns it.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's going to
Oh,
put
yeah, he still owns it.
he's going to put somebody else in there, and that's going to be creating a level of trust from the management of Twitter. That's yeah.
But that's what's stupid about this. Like, you always have people like he's a very political figure. So you have people on this side like him, people that side didn't like him.
Right.
But now you go and you screw with the platform. And people rely on the platform for their livelihood.
Sure.
Now it's apolitical. Now it's like you're just a jerk,
Yep.
and that's where he really screwed himself.
He really did. He's as polarizing, if not more, than Trump. No, I don't think anybody could be.
Well, he's up there, but I don't know. That's a whole new level.
That's a whole new level. All right, so we don't have time for the very blast, but we'll put it in the show links this show, but we'll come back around to it. Sorry, Barry, but I mean, you've been on the show for 10 freaking years. We're going to take a break today.
Just read the headline so everyone knows what to go look for.
Okay, fine. Google's shutting down Question Hub next month.
Ooh, next.
Next month, Google disallowing crawling is not a super fast way to de-index your site.
Ooh, nice.
And Google gives official names for some search features with Visual Elements Gallery.
I want to go read all those.
You do, don't you?
I do.
That's amazing. What a great pick.
Wow, Barry, you really write really clickable links, titles. Jacob wants to go over there and read them. Good
All
job,
of
Barry.
them.
Oh.
Yep.
So Barry Blast, go check him out. There's no SEO chat this week.
No, it's a holiday season. We're taking a break.
Taking a break, folks. Taking a break. But we're not. We're going to be dropping our next Dan Sure podcast this week. And we'll also have news next week as well. So we're not taking a break around here. Maybe you are, right?
Because you're the Grinch. You know how holidays.
Yeah, holidays. Get off my lawn, you darn dirty kids. All right. Morty, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Happy Hanukkah to you, sir.
Happy holidays to you, sir.
Thank
and
you.
to you, Jacob.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We'll see each other very, very soon. That's it for Edge this week. Make sure you listen to the Dan Sure podcast. A fantastic interview with a fellow podcaster, and I can't say it's a fantastic interview from my side of the fence, but he surely brought the meats. Yeah.
Oh my
God, it's terrible, isn't it?
Now they will
It
go
gets
listen.
tough.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as it gets updated. And from all of us over at Edge, be safe, be well, and do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.